Dave Revson, Gerry DiNardo, Howard Griffith. We are in Minneapolis. PJ Fleck taking over as the new head coach of the Gophers, and certainly a household name for college football fans with the incredible turnaround that he had at Western Michigan, taking them to the Cotton Bowl a year ago, and one of a number of big-name coaches who have come into the Big Ten over the last several years, guys. How do you think those big-name hires have impacted the league?
I think it starts with recruiting, and if you look at Urban's recruiting, if you look at James Franklin's recruiting, and if you look at Jim Harbaugh's recruiting, and DJ isn't a big name, but his recruiting, I think for me that's where it starts. The success they've had on the field, especially Urban and James, I think has put the Big Ten more in the national spotlight. You've got Jim Harbaugh, who's energized his fan base, and you have Lovey, who's energized his fan base. And the last guy I would mention, whether you want to call him a big name or not, he certainly wouldn't call himself a big name. We all know Paul Chryst, right? He kind of, says, I'm just here, I'm just part of the puzzle. Yeah. He's a perfect fit. So I think those are some examples of how those programs have elevated their teams.
Credibility, I think it's a big part of it as well. When you hear the names, they've been successful in their own right, whether you talk about Lovie Smith being successful at the pro level, now at Illinois, you talk about PJ Fleck that's had the success at Western Michigan building program. You go to the recruiting, and I think that's huge, particularly when you talk about PJ Fleck here at Minnesota. He's raised the level, and he's also upset a few people in the West as well because of the way he goes about it. He's going to work. He's going to get as many players as he can get, and he's going to do whatever he needs to do within the rules to be able to get players in Minnesota, because he sees this place that has a great value when you talk about some of the things that they're doing off the field.
Yeah, it seems to me it's kind of a domino effect, right? It started with Urban Meyer, and he came in and essentially said, this league isn't recruiting well enough. There aren't good enough players in this league. He set the tone with his recruiting, which year in and year out has been at the absolute top of the heap in college football. And to their credit, people listened and have followed suit, and we have seen the recruiting rankings improve, and with those improved recruiting rankings, better teams, higher ranked programs, and even a national championship for the Big Ten.
What do you know?
Yeah, well, what do you know, huh? 4 teams finished in the top 10 a year ago. All right, so that's the story here in Minneapolis. We'll continue to follow the biggest storylines in the league throughout our tour. Check them out on BTN's many social media sites.